Today's painting is of a lighthouse with rocks and a splashing wave off the coast of Maine. Let's see what we can do with this painting, and you might just be able to use it as a springboard for your own art. Okay, so I am painting this gorgeous scene from Maine, and I've painted the background color with a mix of my red and my blue, and it's a thin coat, so it's just kind of scratchy on there. And I'm gonna grab more of that same color. You can see it's a violet that's mixed between the Naphthol Red, which is like a cadmium red, and the Ultramarine Blue. And so it's just creating a dark color. Now, I go by the theory that it's good to paint from dark to light. And people ask me, what color do you paint on? Why do you choose that color? And in this case, I think I was looking at the color, the tone of the rocks, and I just thought that this maroon could look kind of nice behind it. And I'm getting a bit of the drawing in, and immediately I'm going really to what is the central focal area of the lighthouse itself. Even though it's set back, it's still the point of interest to me that I care about. So I put my effort into that at the beginning. There's a way of painting that you can read about through a guy named Richard Schmid. He's got a great book called Alla Prima. But one of his techniques was really to concentrate on the focal area first, get it right, and then move out from there. I don't paint exactly like him at all because I find that I tend to paint a little bit more all over the canvas. But the idea is kind of helpful in certain situations. In this, I want that lighthouse to look right. I want its proportions to be pretty good. I want the way that it sits among the trees to be right. I want the shape and the composition to be good. And the rocks and all that other stuff is not quite as important. So that's why I like following an idea like that. You can see that I put in some of the trees, and now I'm moving into a color mixed out of my red and my yellow and a little bit of white with maybe still some of that violet in my brush, so it's a little bit dirtier, like a sandy kind of salmon color. And I'm starting to mix in more colors, more whites, more blues, even a little bit of my black there, just to get it to be a little bit darker for those shadow areas of the rocks. And really, I'm starting to try to layer in. If you want to, have variety in your rocks, in a subject matter, because even though the lighthouse is what I kind of think as the most fun part of the focal area, the rocks are really the dominant part of the painting. And I need them in this to be interesting, right? Because if I don't make them interesting, it means that a big portion of the painting will be uninteresting. And even though they're not the focal area, I want them to have variety. I want them to have these, just kind of an interesting thing. Now, there is a little piece of land back there across the water. And so that's why I left that little sliver of blue back there, because I could see that in the distance. Now, this wave is really cool and really important because, again, these are just parts of the painting that really show us, where are we? What are we looking at here? Oh, it's water. It's a crashing wave. This isn't just a house or a building, that's on the top of a hill. It is actually a lighthouse on the water. And so by trying to portray these things, a little bit accurately, we're able to tell people the story of crashing waves and a windy day, a gray day here off the coast of Maine. And when I paint on a darker tone canvas like this, I always know that I'm going to need to do more than one coat on my lighter areas. So I went over the sky with something that was pretty much a white. And I'm going to have to go over it again in just a bit to get it to be brighter. And I'll do the same thing with the wave. I'll do it here with the top of the roof, and areas that you think, if you're not prepared for this, you will leave your paintings that you do in acrylics. If you paint on a mid-tone to a dark canvas ever, you'll leave some of the highlights undone and your painting will be a little bit dark. So I always remember that I need to do multiple coats on my lights, and especially where my highlights are, they need to be maybe even 3 coats, maybe even 4, because I don't want anything to stand in the way of the brightest parts of my painting really standing out and being beautiful. And so we're into that now. I'm shaping and forming. You know, painting really in my mind can have 5 stages, and that is, you come up with the design. And part of that is just cropping the picture to what I want it to look like. And then it's getting that design onto the canvas. And that was the drawing of the canvas onto the image onto the canvas. And then you have what's the block-in stage. And in some ways, I've done the block-in on about 3/4 of the painting, but I haven't really done the block-in on that bottom right corner. But the top is done. And you can see now I'm refining. I came back over with another coat of the sky. I shaped the trees and the building a little bit more. I'm already refining in that top part. But now I kind of need to come back and finish the block in on this lower section of rocks. And so again, I'm trying to figure variations of these colors. You don't see very many times when I don't mix a little bit of different nuanced color into the color that I have on my palette, because I want those varieties to be there. And you can see now this water desperately needs this second coat of the pure white. Because isn't that standing out a lot more now? This is where, when you paint with acrylics, it's very helpful to understand, yes, they do dry a little bit darker. You can get used to that. But it's worth doing 2 coats on these areas if you're ever painting on something that isn't pure white, because the color will stand out. It will be more vibrant, and you can see it in those waves. See how they're really popping now, and they weren't as much before. But until you see that contrast, sometimes you don't know. And that's why it's good to get advice from other people, see other people the way that they're doing it, and understand it takes several coats. Now, I look at that as a good thing, because I like being able to layer my acrylic paints in a subject like this. And we're looking at, I'm making this up a little bit because some of this variety isn't as obvious in the stones, in the rocks, in the reference photo. But I know that these rocks have some reflected light on them. I know that I want my painting to be good, and I would choose to make my painting good over being highly held captive to the reference photo. So if I need to make a little change to make my painting better, you better believe I'm going to do that. And you can do that too. You really need to do that as an artist. You are not a slave to the reference photo. You are the artist, the creator, and you have the right to make those changes. And it's learning where to make those adjustments that can be the most helpful part of it. But I have to say this, it takes a bit of courage to make those changes and to veer off, because you can't always see it, and you have to guess or use your imagination or refer back to memory to make those adjustments. But I am telling you, you are creative. You are amazing, and it will be worth it to engage your imagination and that creative part of you, and not to be a slave to a reference photo. Guys, this was a fun painting. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, here are some paintings by some people who have already taken this journey with me, and you can do the same. So go to paintacrossamerica.com today. It's 50 states, 50 weeks. It's an amazing time, and I will see you there.